Alrighty, well, today we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different things regarding color correction and color grading, what the waveform monitor is, and how to use it, as well as the Vetroscope, the different kind of effects you can do with color. So to get started, I'm gonna the difference between color correction and color grading is that color correction is basically a way to make the video look exactly the way the human eye can see things. That's basically just like fixing the color, like fixing the exposure, the saturation, things like that. While color grading is where you can create, I like to say, like the aesthetic to the video, and that's basically like adding. I think of it as like adding filters and filters to like change the atmosphere and emotion to the video, or to the clip, I should say. So first we're gonna get started with this clip right here. As you can see, it's really bright. So we're gonna correct that so this would be the waveform monitor right here, and this is the Vetroscope. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna bring down the white a little bit, so you can see if I raise it, it's more white. If I bring it down, it brings out less light. But if you bring it too down, then it just starts to look really weird. So I'm gonna bring it to like right to where it starts to seem natural without making it look too crazy. So I'm going to stop it like right there. And then we can also do basic correction. I can bring up the exposure, as you can see, or I can bring it down. And then, so I'm going to bring it to like right about there. I think that looks a little bit normal. See, you can see as I'm moving it around, you can see the waves moving around. This will show like how overexposed or how underexposed the clip is. Next, we're going to be correcting the Seattle skyline right here. So we're going to drag that over here. Go to here. We can either bring down the color, so that way we can either make it more blue or we can make it less blue. So right here, this seems a little bit more realistic to me, just so you can see this is what it could actually look like at night with all the colors, with all the lights coming from the buildings. Or you can make it lean more towards blue, but I think it'll look nice right about here. And then here, actually. And when I do that, you can see the vector lines moving and whatnot. So I'm going to leave that right about here. And then next we're going to add color work to the sequence. Alrighty, next we're going to be working on this clip right here. As you can see, it's very blue. So here we're going to expand the color wheels to make appropriate corrections using the Vetroscope, which is this right here. So right here, let's bring it over to here. Alrighty. See the white, it's leaning a lot towards blue, and you kind of want to get it to the center so that way it's a little bit more even. So what we're going to do here is I can go to the curves. Here's the blue. As you can see, it's more blue. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. As you can see, it's less blue than normal, but if I bring it down too far, then it starts to turn green. And as you can see, as I move it down, this white starts to move towards the center a little bit, but if I move it more towards down, then it starts to go to yellow-green. So I want to bring it right about to where it starts to get a little centered, right before it starts to turn green. Next, we can also use the green and bring that up just a little bit right before it starts to look unnatural. And then you can use the color wheel to bring up the shadows. You can bring it up or you can bring it down, as you can see on the waveform. So I'm going to bring it right about here, as well as the highlights, just to make it look a little bit more natural to the human eye. I'm going to bring it right about there, and as well as the midtones. If I bring it up, it starts to get really bright. If I bring it down, it starts to get really dark. So as you can see, if I bring it up, the white little area on the Vetroscope is more towards the center than it was when we first started, and that's exactly what we want. So I'll bring it right about there. I'm going to see if I can bring down the exposure so that way it's not as bright. Bring it right about there. I can see if I use some white balance a little bit. I'll use this, I can use that for white. Yep, there you go. So we'll bring it right about there. And as you can see, this looks a lot more natural than when we first started out. And as you can see, the white is a lot more centered than when we first started, which is exactly what we wanted. Alright, so next we're going to be adding the leaf color effect to this flower right here. So I'm going to drag this over. And what I want to do is I want to pick the yellow, and I want to leave the yellow while making all of this the rest black and white. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to effects. Then we're going to go, I already opened it up, but I'll show you again. I'll go to video effects, and I'll go down to leave color. Then we can go to effects right here. And as you can see, we have the leave color right here. So you can do color to leave, and I want to leave the yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it right about there, and then I'm going to use this, the little pen right here, and then I'm going to click this. I'm going to drag it all around the yellow, I should say. So right around the yellow, so using this pen, we'll be able to select the color that you want to leave. So right when I'm done this, the yellow will stay, however, the background will not. So leave this right here, and then we're going to go to amount decolor. And the more you drag it, oh, I didn't really do too hot of a job. But essentially what you would do is you would go to yellow, click the pen, drag it all around. So this is the area that we want to leave. I want to leave this right here. Amount to decolor, and as you can see, it's a little bit better. So that is how you leave color in a clip, in a video, in a picture, all of that. Next, we're going to create a new sequence, and to do that, we're going to go to new item, and we're going to new sequence, and then we'll click OK. And now, as you can see, we have a new sequence. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to drag this clip over here, and then we're going to add a Lumetri preset to this clip. We'll change sequence to that. Okay, and then we'll go to, so this is the clip that we want to add. What we're going to do is we're going to go to effects. We'll close that. We'll go to Lumetri presets, and what we're going to do is I'm going to go to cinematic. Actually, no, we can go to monochrome. I can make this black and white just so you can see what I'm actually talking about. Next, we're going to go to strong faded. We'll drag that over here, and as you can see now, in comparison to this, now we have a Lumetri preset onto that. Now we're going to nest this sequence. We're going to nest sequence 1, which is this right here. And then we're going to nest it into sequence 2 and export it as just one file. Okay, so we're going to go to clip and then nest. And as you can see, this is nested sequence 1. So now this is all one completed nested sequence. And as you can see, it created it right here. So next we're going to go into this second sequence, and we're going to drag nested sequence over here. And now, if you come here, now we have the sequence that we were working with.